Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Here again at JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services in Cebu City. They have offices in Cebu City as well as Dumaguete. And anyway, we're gonna cover a number of topics, in particular the 13A. So I'm going to turn it over to JR and the crew and take it away.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Rod. How are you?
Very good.
It's been a long time that we don't see each other, but I'm very happy to see you now. So, going back, I have here with me Kervin, who is actually our in charge for Cebu Visa operations and partly covering Cebu, the entire island of Cebu and Bohol, and also for Dumaguete, which will be relevant. So, we'll be discussing now the 13A. 13A is one of the options right now that will be viable for the visa application, especially at this pandemic time. As you all know with that, Rod, you have encountered few of your subscribers who are into that. Anyway, with that one, Kervin will be will be giving you the requirements, the basic requirements for us to proceed with that visa, and then later on, Relgen will be discussing you the procedure on how to get the visa. So I will be turning over to Kervin and he will be discussing the major requirements for the visa.
Hello Rod and hello everyone who's watching this. So for me to discuss the requirements, so there are three major requirements that you need to provide. So the number one thing is the marriage certificate. So it could be in two ways. So if you're married here in the Philippines, you will get a certificate of marriage issued from the PSA. So that stands for Philippine Statistics Authority. If you're married abroad, you will have to report your marriage in the Philippine Embassy for you to get the report of marriage here in Cebu. So it still be the same, issued from PSA. So the other thing is the birth certificate of your Filipino wife. So that is the proof that your wife is a Filipino citizen. It states there, its maiden name, all the details that for your wife. The third one is your NBI clearance for the foreigner or for the applicant. So those three things, you're already qualified if you have that, and then we can already start the process for that one.
Okay.
Alright, so that sums up, those are the basic requirements, but bear it in mind that you still have some documentations or part of the requirements that you need to do, and that is why we'll be helping you with all those requirements with us, and after those requirements will be complied, then that will be the time that we'll proceed with the processing. The processing will now be discussed with Relgen for you to be guided accordingly on what are the things that you need to be done. Relgen, take the floor.
Okay, good morning, Rod. For processing for 13A visa, of course, Kervin already discussed the major requirements. So once the client already complete all the required requirements to apply for a 13A visa, the first step for applying for that, of course, we need to bring that one to the immigration office for the evaluation. Once it's done, then we're going to pay everything. Once it's paid, we need to do the regulatory records if the clients have any records in immigration, especially here in the Philippines. So once it's done, of course, we're going to bring it back to the evaluation section. Once it's already done, then we're gonna do the biometric for the foreigners, for the applicant, to do the picture and also to submit all the necessary requirements. Once it's done, the immigration offices will do the endorsement to file for the final processing, which is gonna bring it to the Manila in the main office. So we will gonna wait for that. The processing, it will take 2 to 3 months. And after that, once the application is already approved, of course, we are the one who gonna do the implementation of which offices we file your 13A application.
Yes, that's correct.
So
So yeah, thank you, Relgen, for that. Those are the basic requirements that you need to partake once you opted to apply for the 13A non-quota immigrant visa, to be specific. those are the basic guidelines that we're trying to impart to you, Rod, and at the same time to your subscribers. This video was made for you to be given the process and to give you an idea on how the process will go. But on the in-depth details of these procedures, requirements, that's why we are here. Our team is ready to help you with. It's either you are already in the Philippines or you're out of Cebu. Give us a call. We'll be having our contact details, our mobile contact numbers, our email addresses, so that you can actually contact us on this matter. So on this avenue, what we're trying to give you and your subscribers will be our intention to help you, especially in this challenging time. Please bear with us, as these challenging times have changes a lot of things, especially in the processes on these offices. One thing to cite is the Bureau of Immigration in Manila is on a skeletal workforce, meaning they are not in full capacity of doing the operations or doing the processing. Just like I have, as per my information is concerned, per employee is only reporting 2 days in a week, and the rest of the week they are on a setup of a work from home. So with that, please expect that there will be changes, or that will be affect the entire timeline of the process. And the other thing to note, if you're gonna check on the website as well, is instead of doing the agenda, or shall we say the approval of the visa applications, they are now doing it every 2 weeks instead of every week. So I would like that to be relayed to you in detail, because those are the things that will be affecting us. And I know we have been 3 years in this industry. Once you know how it goes and what are the factors affecting it, you can actually understand and fully set your expectations with us. It's not just like, hey, what happened, why it took so long? But that is why we're here. Pardon us also for those emails that we have not responded yet, because we are incurring an influx of emails, and it would be best to call us directly, and we will be talking, and we will be making some emails in terms of confirmation of what we talk about. We would actually prefer that. Now we'll be giving this floor to Rod if you have some questions in mind, and we'll be free to answer.
Yeah, I guess I would mention that I and some expats, we tend to be people who try to do all this ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've been in the immigration office, and you get frustrated. You might get out in 1 hour one time, and it might take 3 hours, or they might tell you come back in 4 hours. You come back in 4 hours, and they tell you come back tomorrow. I've heard that story. I've seen foreigners, expats, get frustrated and start arguing with the people, and they have no control because the paperwork's in Manila, and it's getting held up there for whatever reason. So anyway, these guys, JRC, they know the language, they know the people, they know the process, they know how to keep things calm, the culture, and
that is what we're working out now, Rod, especially in this time.
Yeah, you can, if the immigration people are having a bad day and you walk in and you're having a bad day, it could be a bad situation. These guys know how to handle those situations, and it's you have different fees for different services.
Yes.
But I've found now that I use you guys, it's so much easier just to give you the paperwork and go from there. Now, one question I have, and
yes,
people have asked me, they live outside of Cebu City or Dumaguete, maybe in Camiguin or northern Mindanao or something. How do you deal with those people also?
Kirby, would you like to answer the question, please? Okay. Okay, our offices are mainly in Cebu City and Dumaguete cities. For those outside of those areas, we can also help you with that matter. Just send us an email, call us, because we will be assessing your situation, and based on our experience, we have actually managed applications and assisting immigration needs remotely. So that can be arranged.
Okay.
If there would be a need for you to come here to Cebu, then that would be your biometrics, because that's beyond our control.
Right.
If you're doing the NBI and you cannot do it in your place, you need to come to Cebu or Dumaguete, in which they will allow foreigners to do the NBI. Okay. One thing that I would like to do, to inform you that NBI clearance, which is one of the requirements for the 13A, also covers with a different regulations or procedures with the NBI office itself. So you cannot just go to NBI satellite office anywhere in Cebu or anywhere nearest to your place if that is your first time you apply for the NBI clearance.
Oh, okay.
You need to go to at least a regional office for a foreigner to be allowed to apply.
Okay.
Once you have the renewal and once you have the personal copy of your previous NBI, that will be the time that you will go, you can apply it on the satellite offices of the NBI. Okay? That's a very good, I think this would be a good information that every foreigner should know. And all foreigners will be automatic hit, meaning red flag, the NBI will be doing a double checking of your records. Just in case you have the same name, they will require you to be in the office for you to be verified. If it's you or the same name of yours before they will issue the clearance. But for now, it is important to note that NBI clearance for foreigners will be issued 3 to 4 weeks after the application.
Okay.
Okay?
And this is a regional office here in Cebu?
Yes, we
Right.
have.
Okay.
We have one in capital area. That is the regional office for the NBI.
Oh, okay.
Because we have different NBI offices like in Karkar, in Danao, in Lapu-Lapu, to name a few.
Okay.
Alright?
All right. What other types of problems, what are the more common problems you have with this whole process from the expat standpoint? Paper not being filled out properly, or
Yes.
what are some of the issues that you run into?
Usually they're the address, so the address must be consistent. So once a foreigner gets his or her NBI clearance, the address must be consistent with his application form. So all these address must be consistent.
Okay.
Some of them, yeah.
Important, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them, for their passport,
Yeah.
we know the Western country, they have two names. For example, we put a Kervin Mark like that. So some of them, once they're gonna apply for the NBI, their Kervin, that's their first name, and their Mark is the middle name, which is here in the Philippines is a full name.
Oh,
So there's no such middle name here.
Yeah.
So that's also the challenge of the foreigner to make one of the requirements, which is the affidavit of one and the same person, which is that's also the additional requirements for them to apply for a 13A visa.
Yeah, it's an affidavit to prove that this name and this name is the same.
right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's
That would be important.
because you
Yeah.
submitted different documents, right? Different names, but it's still the same.
All right.
So you need to provide the affidavit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to add on that, in the Philippines, the middle name normally is the family name of the mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright? That will be the distinction now for a foreigner to understand what is the setup here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
It's just like what Welton said, Kervin Mark Antiligando. Kervin will be the first name, and if he is a foreigner from the US, for example, Mark will be the second name.
Right.
But here in the Philippines, Kervin Mark is your first name. I don't know how it would go in the other countries,
Oh, okay.
but here in the Philippines, the middle name is the last name of your mother.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Alright,
Okay.
so those are the basic, those are the most common things that we encounter, especially these days. And one thing that is very important to note is immigration will be taking a look at the consistency of your documents from your ACRI card, especially for the address, NBI clearance, and the application form. Those three should be the same in terms of details. Otherwise, they will let you do an affidavit or do the paperwork again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other final comments about that?
We would like to give you one thing that we have discovered recently. I know you have subscribers from outside the country, and maybe I'll try to get this mask off. We encountered recently that a client of ours has successfully applied his 13A of one of the embassies outside the Philippines. So that can be additional option for you. We are actually relaying this information with first-hand experience that he was able to complete the 13A application specifically at the Philippine Embassy in Singapore. Alright? So, by this time, I would like to let all those potential clients or potential applicants for the 13A to give a message or to email the nearest Philippine Embassy to you asking if they will be allowing you or they will be issuing the 13A. Okay? So that can be a 13A application outside the Philippines.
Okay.
And there's also a 13A application inside the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
Those are two separate processes. And once they will be applying for the 13A outside the Philippines, once they come back, what they need to process is only the ACR.
Oh, okay.
Because the Philippine Embassy does not have an access of the biometrics system of the Bureau of Immigration. So that is where the process is. Once you're be granted by the Philippine Embassy with the 13A, you come into the port of entry here in the airport, and after that, you will process the ACR application using that approved 13A.
Okay. So, how long does it take from the day they walk into your office or you meet them someplace? From the time you start the process till the time it's finished, what are you looking at? 3 months, 4 months, 6 months?
Okay, at this point of time, I just want everybody to be aware of this. Preparation of the requirements is a separate timeline. If we would like on a 13A application, we can actually finish including the NBI clearance roughly between 3 to 4 weeks. That's the first phase of the application. Getting all the requirements done. So once it will be evaluated in the Bureau of Immigration, it's paid and the biometrics also done. It's our rough estimate in terms of having that approved will be around 2 to 3 months for the visa. Because we need to understand, once you apply a visa, you're applying two applications. The visa itself and the ACRI card.
Okay.
The ACRI card is an identification of the visa in which it will only be processed to be issued once your visa is approved and implemented.
Okay.
Implementation is the process of stamping the approved visa on your passport. Without implementation, the approved visa is nothing.
Okay.
And after the implementation, that is where the ACRI card will be processed.
All right. Very good.
All right.
And you have several ways to contact you. You have email, you have Facebook, and,
Yes,
and
we have our
Messenger,
Facebook page.
and you also, of course, you have cell phones.
Yes.
What works best for you guys?
For now, based on the influx of inquiries that we have, it will be much better to call us.
Okay.
We have been receiving calls from outside the Philippines, and we will able to address them because that will, on that engagement, that will be the initial consultation with us, and we can, our first, the first thing that we have in mind is to assess your visa situation. We will not be talking about the fees, we will not be talking about the scope of work, but we will be asking, what is your visa situation right now?
Okay.
Because we cannot proceed to process if we don't know your visa situation. Like, what if you're applying for a dual citizenship,
Right.
but you cannot provide us with a certain documents, like your proof as a Filipino citizen, or if you're applying for a 13A, you have not reported your marriage to the Philippine Embassy nearest you. So that we cannot say that, okay, we're going to process. No. We will be guiding you all the way. Our team here will be guiding you all the way on a step-by-step process. That's why we are actually dividing it into per area
Right.
to make it more specific. Like Kervin will be in Cebu, Relgen will be in Dumaguete. So far, these guys have been doing a great job. We just want to let you know that our job is not easy because
No.
it involves documentation, it involves field work, and so on and so forth. All right.
I know I get 99% positive comments about
you so
your
much.
work and everything.
Thank you.
Occasionally, somebody says, "Hey, I sent them an email and I didn't get a return, right away or something." But I know I get emails, and I'm getting more and more emails, and it's a challenge trying to keep up with emails.
Yeah,
It is.
You know,
It is.
and
it
you get
is.
them. You might open them on your phone and read them,
Mhm.
but you're gonna go to your laptop and answer them. But then they show as they've been read, and unless you star them or put them in a different folder,
Yes,
It's-
yes, that's true. That's true.
it's a major.
That's why I put a big smile on my face. And so do these guys. They're just wearing a mask. Maybe I'm just gonna put my mask again.
All right, all right. Anyway, all right, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that discussion. Contact these people about any more. Don't ask me. Ask these guys. They're the experts.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rod,
Thank
for
you.
that term.
Okay.
We're really flattered to have the term experts, and we are a work in progress. Kervin, Ranjan our team will be doing our best to help you on that matter, and we are a work in progress.
Okay.
Soon to be, but our objective right now is actually to give the best service possible for you guys. Thank
Okay.
you, and be safe, everyone.
Very good.
Thank
Bye bye.